Greetings, Commanders, and welcome back to the Bounty Hunter series here in Elite Dangerous. Today is going to be a little bit different because I need to go back and top off my... community goal here because I've dropped down below the top 25%, which, you know, you only need the top 75% for the cool little extra cargo gear thing, but I want to try to stay up there in the top 25% as best I can, just to make sure that at the last minute a bunch of people don't come in and then yank it, and then somehow I get dropped down into like the one where I only get like the minimum thing. So why am I doing this on camera today? Well, I received a comment on one of my posts from one of my viewers who said something to the effect of, at least this viewer feels that the big Elite Dangerous content creators have left a void and somebody needs to fill it. And the idea that their idea was, you know, I approach this as a veteran playing the game, and there's a lot of things that people can learn from me. I agree with that to some extent. At the same time, though, a lot of the stuff in this game that you can do that, you know, might be interesting for you to do isn't necessarily interesting for people to watch. So, I don't know. The thought that spawned from that comment was, you know, I mostly just rotate through the same, you know, 3 types of bounty hunting missions where I, you know, either do some ship combat, or I go and I assassinate some people, or do some ground combat stuff, or I infiltrate and do some kind of data breach or something like that. I could, you know, expand that rotation to include maybe an episode of mining, maybe an episode of exploration, maybe some trucking, space trucking, you know, rotate through space trucking and things like that. I'm not sure how I feel about that. My space exploration videos never really did as well as the bounty hunting stuff does, because it's just, you know, it's naturally more interesting to watch somebody going around shooting people. It's just the way it is. It's the way we are. So, you know, watching somebody using an aura and loading cargo and then moving to another station and stuff like that, or watching somebody, like the mining stuff can be kind of interesting if we're doing like core mining or something like that, or the drill mining like that can be relatively interesting. Space exploration stuff, that's only interesting when you find something. So I don't really do the whole record for hours and hours and hours and then, you know, highlight certain things. I just play, and whatever happens happens, and that's just kind of the way it goes, because I don't have the patience for video editing, and I don't have the patience to do a bunch of time on my own time only to get like 2% of the footage actually usable. Like, I'd rather just focus on doing things that have a high chance of actually being interesting to do. So I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, and I'm still trying to figure out what it is that I would do, but let's see. Let's focus on getting landed here. I need to get my cutter. Whoa. Wow. That was a terrible landing. That was a terrible landing. Okay, sorry about that. So, what we're going to have to do is, we are going to have to hop into our cutter. So let's go ahead and get that done first. Right here. And then we're going to have to pull up Inara. I will bring that up as a window that you guys can ideally see. Is it this one? Yeah. So, if you've never used Inara before, we are going to be looking for commodities. The system that we need to deliver it to is Minerva. We are looking for I generally have just been doing steel. Steel near Minerva. I already have a bunch of things that should be still in here. Large landing pad. I want a minimum of 5,000 units, so I'm not wasting my time. I don't really care about the price because they're purchasing it at a ridiculous like rate, so it's really nice. So we can go to a DOD to Bannock Orbital. We'll copy that to our clipboard. We can minimize that. Go into our galaxy map, copy paste that, click on a DOD, hold it down, and then now we can go. All right, so we're gonna go to a DOD, we're gonna dock, we're gonna fill up our cargo hold with steel, we're gonna go back to Minerva to the station there, and then rinse and repeat until we're done. So this is why I'm saying it's like, you know, there's some people who would enjoy just chilling and watching somebody doing some space trucking, but I have to imagine the list of those people are very, very small. The list of people who are interested in that is very, very small. All right, looks like we're gonna get a clear. Oh. Integrity critical. Eject. I got a little bit overzealous there. Fortunately, we're in the station that I'm supposed to be in. So, oh well. I'm super rich. I can afford it. I got a little carried away there. A little bit carried away there, but it's okay. Oops. It was still all right. We'll try that again. I don't have any shields, so I got a little carried away. Normally, like you watch me play, I don't know, and most of the time, I'll be honest with you. Most of the time, I jet out of here, even in this ship, and it's fine. I knew as soon as I pressed the button, I was like, nah, it was a little too early. A little bit too early.
Maintain correct lane on exit.
Still got that screwed up. I'm not comfortable with the ship yet. I'm still in fighter mode. That's all right though. We'll figure it out.
Frameshift drive charging.
Fortunately, I didn't have a load of cargo when that happened, so mostly it just cost me a few million credits or over it. I mean, I have 8.7 billion credits, so it's not that big of a deal to me. I can live with it. I can certainly live with it. I sacrificed shields for cargo space, but sometimes my impatience gets the better of me, and then things like that happen. It's been a while since I've actually destroyed a ship, though. Since I've actually haven't had one of my ships destroyed, though. Like, that's the first time that's happened in... I don't even know. I can't even remember the last time that actually happened to me. So, had to happen sometime. That's the way it goes. So, we just need to get to a Dodd. Slingshot past this star here. Wait for the cooldown to finish. Trying to be as efficient with our time as we can be. I do not have the Panther Clipper because I refuse to give FDev any more money until they start designing things for the game that I care about. And so far, everything they've been designing has been the only things I've been interested in have been ships, but I'm sorry, they're asking too much for that ship for me to be. I don't know. I was done spending money on ships after I purchased the Cobra Mark V. I waited for the Corsair to come out before I waited for the Corsair to come out for credits before I purchased that before I got that. It's just, you know, they're not developing anything in the game that for me makes it worth spending money on it. And so I'm just gonna wait for it to come out for credits, and then you know, once it does, I'll purchase it, and then we'll have the biggest cargo capacity available in the game. And then if we continue doing, you know, space trucking episodes like this one, then cool. We'll have the biggest cargo and the biggest ship, and I think it's the most maneuverable ship too. So like we'll have less drifting around like this ship does, because this ship is fast, but it's also all right, so what we're doing, Banach Orbital. We got to go around that way. But I don't know. Now that I think about it, the cutter might end up having to just be the ship that we stick with, because the max speed on the, I believe the max speed on the Panther Clipper is something like 400, something like that, which, you know, isn't the most terrible thing in the world, but compared to the, hold on, I gotta focus on this. Compared to the, I think, 600 plus that we, I don't know, we're at least approaching 600. I think we get over 500 on this one. Upwards of 600. I don't know. We'll see when we boost towards. We'll see when we boost towards the station here. I don't remember what my max speed was, and I wasn't paying attention as we were leaving the station. So over 500, and it'll be higher because I slowed it down.
This port operates under federal jurisdiction.
Alright, let's start trying to bleed off some speed here.
Authorization cleared. You are go for approach to pad 40.
Okay. I generally just do half throttle until we get in. And then zero out my throttle and let the auto docking do its thing.
You are go for automated
But I'm not gonna let it do it this time because it will run me into the little tower there. So unfortunately, we're just gonna have to do that. All right, there we go. I'll let it do it from here. Unfortunately, the auto docking does not account for any towers and stuff that are in between you and the landing pad sometimes. So you do have to pay attention and, you know, make sure you do have to monitor it because sometimes the auto docking thing will just kind of screw you over. And it's super irritating when it happens. All right, so we just need to go into commodities, go down to metals, look for steel. They have plenty of steel for us to purchase. We'll fill up our cargo hold,
Maximum capacity.
launch, and then head over to, as I said in my tutorials, you can go to your mission or goal, go to the galaxy map, and then it will automatically target you towards the system that you're supposed to go to. I do not have auto takeoff enabled on this because that generally takes a very long time. Fortunately, we are going to have to take our sweet time getting out of here, though, because there's somebody in the way, and we will definitely slam into something if we try to get out of here. He stopped for a second. I didn't think he was going to stop there. All right, our max speed. Didn't we have like 500 something? Oh, because we have a lot more. We have a full cargo bay. Full cargo bay. That's why I was like, didn't we have over 500 meters per second just a minute ago? What's going on here? Full cargo bay. That makes the difference. Duh. Duh. Which, I don't know, the thought process in the way that max speeds work in this game is kind of dumb. That's not how it works in real life. Like, there's no friction in space, so you're not having to fight against friction that slows you down. Theoretically, you should have no maximum speed. Theoretically, you should have no maximum speed because that's not how it works in space. This is an arbitrary limitation that was placed on things because, you know, we want it to work like fighter jets, and we don't want people to just we don't want people to be able to just, you know, get to a max speed and then get away. And it's like, you know, I get it. I get it. Sometimes compromises have to be made to make the games playable. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just pointing out that it's not realistic. Okay. So we got somebody we got an NPC in the comms section saying, oh, we're going to come after you and get your cargo. So hopefully we can get to the station and drop out before he screws with us. In general, I'm able to, especially because I always do the quick drop. So because we're in a large ship, we should be pretty good with it. There we go. We've made it to the station. I generally pop to half throttle and then boost. It looks like it's going to be this side, maybe? It's hard to tell because you have to wait until you target it before it'll tell you which side it is. And then at half throttle, it'll slow us down. So we'll get a boost out of it, but the half throttle starts to slow you down pretty quickly. And then ideally, by the time we get to the station, we'll have let off enough speed that we'll be at half throttle, which is max maneuverability. And then you just have to angle yourself into the station. And then eventually we get like this. Hop into the station, zero throttle, let the auto landing do the... I find that no matter how good I am at flying these ships, when it comes to the auto docking is just going to be the most efficient way to get down to the landing pad. It's way more efficient for you to fly yourself in through the slot, but you're always going to be way less efficient than the autopilot in getting yourself down to the landing pad. It's just the way it is, because it's able to just draw a straight line to the landing pad and perfectly manipulate your thrusters to get you there. So that's just the way I do it. It doesn't work, that trick doesn't really work with stations that don't have a slot. So let's see. We're gonna go here. Hello, Control V. Oh, Control V. And then we're just going to go back and do that again. I find that it doesn't work with like mediums, smaller stations that only have medium landing pads, but one where you don't go through the slot, because you generally want to fly straight towards the landing pad, and it's going to take you off to a point relatively far away from the pad, and that ends up taking a lot more time. So the thought process only really works. You suck, dude. Unfortunately, my thrusters just have a hard time with this big freaking ship. All right, let's get out of here. Get out of mass lock, charge the frame shift drive, start swinging around. Get our vector pointed towards where we're trying to go. And then we wait for the jump. Alright, so, yeah, I mean, this is what space trucking episodes would look like. I miss EDDB because it had better options for, like, if you just want to do trade, like if you're not just doing a specific community goal or you just want to do some trading, they had some really nice options as far as like routing and things like that. You could do a loop if you wanted to, and it would figure out the best loop that you could do, where you could start from a station. Hold on, I gotta focus here for a second. You could start from a station, it would loop you around, and then eventually bring you back to that same station, finding you the best trades along the way that would make you the most amount of money possible, staying within X radius of your original station. So like you'd start at a station, then it would take you to another one, to another one, to another one, to another one, and then back to your original station. And you could spend, you know, 30 minutes to an hour just doing some space trucking, and the EDDB would just take you there. I think I got distracted. I don't think this one's going to work. I waited too long to turn it off. I think we're going to zing past it. Oh, nope, we got lucky. Okay, cool. Alright, I'm not gonna boost on this one because when we're on the side of the station where the slot is, a lot of times there's just not enough room for us to slow down before we end up overshooting. So sometimes in these big ships like this, sometimes it's easier to just do it. It's faster. It ends up being faster to just go slow and steady wins the race kind of stuff. As much as I'm impatient, I want to hurry up and get it done. I'm also, you know, I want to do it the way that's actually going to be the fastest, not the way that just feels like it's the fastest. And oh no, I was gonna do that, but I need to wait until I'm past the little tower here. So we'll quarter throttle it until we get past that, and then we can zero throttle it, and then it'll take us down.
500 meters to touchdown.
So yeah, now we'll just wait for that, pick up another load of steel, head back to Starlay Station, drop it off.
Landing gear deployed.
Let's see, are we back up? Yeah, we're back up into the 25% again, so that's good. So we just need to fuel up, and we need to head in there by our steel.
Touchdown sequence complete. You may disembark when ready.
Boom, 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 boom. There's our steel. Fill up the cargo hold.
Cargo hold at maximum capacity.
Launch. And then, as we did last time, retarget the system we're going to. And then we head out. With any luck, we can boost our way out of the station and hopefully not slam into anything.
Landing gear retracted.
Docking clamps retracted. You may leave when ready.
Nope, there's ships in the way. I mean, we will eventually, but I gotta wait for the... whatever that is. It looks like a beluga. Orc. No, it's at a... that's an orca, I think. I don't know, I can't tell. Yeah, I think that's an orca. Ugh, too many ships coming in. Go away. Okay. That was a beluga there. Get out of mass lock, jump, go dock, and then we'll be done for the day.
Shift drive charging.
flight control now offline. Hope to see you again, Commander.
So I'm not opposed to doing more variety. I'm just concerned about watchability because obviously most people aren't going to be interested in sitting here and watching space trucking episodes. They're like, wait, where's the combat? I want to see people blow up, or I want to see people get shot. Like, as I said in my previous video, you got to do what people are going to watch, not necessarily what you want to be doing, and it's just kind of the way it goes. I'm never going to be the channel that does a bunch of like highly edited, you know, let's talk about a subject videos. The best you're going to get from me is we're going to be playing a game and I'll talk about something while we're playing. If you're looking, I'm never going to be the channel that is like 10 best this or that. Like, I'm not interested in being that. I'm not interested in doing that. It requires me to do again. It requires me to go into that whole. I have to put in 40 hours to get 5 or 10 minutes of video. Like, I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in doing that. No. I would rather be a streamer than to do that. If I'm gonna have to put in 40 hours, I'm gonna put in 40 hours of streaming, and then at least, you know, at least that ends up being, you know, I have a potential to make money for every minute that I'm on, not spend 40 hours of video flops and doesn't do well, and then I wasted 40 hours of my life. Like, no, I'm good. I'm good. So we'll try to boost, but again, we're kind of on the wrong side of the station for it. We'll see. It might be okay.
Access granted. Prep for arrival on landing pad 40.
Yeah, I think we made it. So, as we always do, go through the slot. Zero throttle. Auto docking does the rest and takes us very efficiently to the landing pad and sets us down. We sell off our stuff, and that's it.
Landing gear deployed.
I know it doesn't seem like it, but this is way more efficient than what I would be doing right now. Even, I mean, you've seen me do some pretty intense landings. You can't do that in these big ships. You got to take it kind of slow, and you got to just let it's always faster for the auto dock to do it than you will, unless you have just really practiced in your ship a lot. All right, so that is going to be it for today's episode. Hopefully you guys had lots of fun. Be sure to click the like button, subscribe to help us reach 10,000 subscribers. Join as a member for early access to videos, among other perks, or you can just leave YouTube's version of a tip with that thanks button. I also have PayPal and Patreon links because some people do like to contribute outside of YouTube, so those options are there for your convenience. I will end the episode by exiting the station and initiating a jump. That way you guys can have a nice little thing here. Here we go again.
Hull integrity compromised. Taking damage.
Anyways,
Caution. Maintain safe separation.
sometimes that's how that works. Anyways, thank you very much again for watching. Be sure to come back for the next video, and I will see you for the next one.
Speed restrictions are now lifted. Have a safe trip, Commander.
Ready to engage. 4, 3, 2.
See you later.